We'll call to order the regular school board meeting of the Madison Central School District on Monday, March 14th. Mr. Brooks will record the members present or absent. We have an establishment of a quorum with all board members present, so let's pledge allegiance to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one God, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we have one addition into our agenda, one additional resignation, and that resignation would be Mr. Nielsen, and we'll talk about that when we get down to our personnel actions. So with that, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda. And Mrs. Thompson, is there a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Miller's closer, so he gets that. So we have a motion and a second on the agenda with the one additional personnel action. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. In terms of the consent agenda, we have our minutes of our February 8th, February 23rd, 25th, 26th, 29th, and 3rd of March. We also had Mr. Miller, Mr. Nelson, and Mrs. Thompson go through the bills. Anything there that we need to be aware of? Our financials are out there.
Good.
Okay. And then personnel actions, Mr. Schaefer, we'll send those over to you.
Right, we did make the agenda addition to add Mr. Tom Nielsen, resignation as elementary teacher effective at the end of the 2015-16 school year, along with Sarah Judd, known as Kunkel Ruiz. And so we'll be losing those individuals, and we do that reduction in force, commonly known as RIF, for the title teachers. We do that every year on an annual basis, anticipating the fact that we will have funding for we'll have the federal funding returning to us again. And now we have a request to hire in the driver's ed world, and that's there for your explanation. Where we have Maxine Underbrunner, Don Weavers. In that area, Nathan Gooden is added into the custodian department at $11 an hour. Lori May and Jennifer Milliken as special ed drivers at $11.50, and Lauren Boodle as a bus monitor for $10.10 per hour. And Joey Leesinger is moving across from BA to BA 15. So we'd recommend that all personnel actions would be approved.
So for our consent items 7 through 9, I would entertain a motion that we approve those. So moved by Mr. Haig. Is there a second?
Second.
Questions or discussion? Congratulations to Mr. Leisinger on his move across, and wish our 3 departing certified people best of luck as they continue with their endeavors. Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the consent agenda items signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare motion is passed. Item number 10, open enrollment applications 16 through 19. Mr. Schaefer.
This is 16-19 individual is actually came in the second semester. The paperwork is just catching up. This will be an 8th grade student and be in 9th grade next year, but is in school here now by way of the second term. So we recommend your approval of that.
Okay, we have a open enrollment application 16-9 that we need to take action on.
Make a motion to approve that.
Mrs. Thompson moves we approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Sims. Further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the open enrollment application 16-19 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare that that has been approved. Looks like we have no delegation, so on to administrator's report. We have the report by Dr. Cook from the middle school, and I don't see Mr. Shaw here. Are you going to take that one?
I'll take it.
Okay.
I have just a couple items in addition to the middle school report. We have an early graduation request that administratively we are supporting, and just basically informing the board that early graduation will be granted to 2 students who have completed their senior credits, even though they are only in their 11th year. Their plans are to go on through next year into the foreign exchange system. And their families and them have planned through the counseling department and through the high school principal office. And they have completed their credits, or will have completed their credits at the end of this year. So they will go through graduation and next year embark on their foreign exchange experience. From my perspective, invite or open the opportunity up to board members who would like to attend the negotiations seminar in Sioux Falls. That's coming up March 23rd from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 5. That's a Wednesday, and you need to get you registered if you are planning on going. Mitchell and I are registered. Well, we open it up for board members if you wish. And let us know either tonight or tomorrow at the latest when you think, right, Mitch?
I think they'll fill it fast. They might have more dates, but what they have on calendar, I think will fill it pretty fast.
This is an important one because of the fact of all the new information that's coming is still being communicated and determined actually at the Department of Education, and it will be out to us in the near future. We'll get actually we're signed up for a conference call tomorrow afternoon, and that's going to be very interesting, and then follow that up with this legal seminar next week, our negotiation seminar next week, and a legal seminar coming up early April. So this would be 4 hours of time well spent if you're able, and if you are so inclined. Just let us know as soon as you can. We'll try to get you a chair.
Who's putting that on?
ASBSD and SASD.
Combined effort of the two organizations.
We're going to have Gary Kaufman from Associated School Boards and Rodney Freeman as a contractor, I would assume, coming in and talking. And,
That'd be about two of the best we could get for that. Any questions on any of that?
Where is that again, did you say?
In Sioux Falls.
Ramkota.
We typically are at the Ramkota, yeah, around that time.
I probably will plan to attend, Vince.
Okay. All right, well, that's all I have then.
I guess while we're talking about negotiations and things, we probably sometime fairly soon following that, we'll look at having a special board meeting to discuss some of these, I don't know what we call them, strategies or whatever that we're able to use as a part of negotiations this year. Because, you know, until that particular session is up, we really don't have an idea. So we probably will look at maybe the week following that, have a special board meeting just like we normally have done to try to prepare for negotiations once we understand more fully where we're at with the new laws and things.
There'll be quite a challenge with this year's negotiations in the fact that Tom brought up a very good point, in the fact that the need to educate yourselves as board members, but also the need to educate our public, meaning our teaching staff and our public in general, as to how this is supposed to come down. There were a lot of unfortunate communications or innuendos or whatever you might say, miscommunications that were let out during the legislative process, and those inaccuracies are going to be a challenge to overcome. And old routines and processes are difficult to change, but this is a time when some of that is going to have to be worked through, I guess is one way to say it. Would you agree, Tom?
I would agree. And I think what we'll probably look at doing is having either prior to or following our session, something that we can share with the public on that also, so that everyone is aware of what we're able to do and how we're able to accomplish things, not necessarily through the whole negotiations, but how much of particularly the Senate bills work their way through what our requirements will be. So. Anything else administrators report?
I guess one more thing, if you don't mind. We'll make this meeting last a little longer than thought. But, you know, this is probably a little unusual, but I would like to just say to the board and to the administrators that were involved in the hiring process of your next superintendent. I guess there's the outgoing superintendent and a guy that's been around a while. I don't know that I've ever seen a school board buckle down and go to work and put in as much time as you folks did in your selection of Mr. Jorgensen. I want to commend you all for that work, and recognizing the fact that it's not only takes a lot of time, it's mentally exhausting and physically draining to do that on top of your regular day job. And a lot of you spend a lot of hours on your own going through that paperwork and coming to your conclusion. So I want to, on behalf of the community and the taxpayers and the faculty, I want to thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you. All right, on to item number 13, issuance of 2016-2017 certified staff contracts. Is that you, Mitch, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Each year, once we have, our RIF notices will go out, and the remaining contract staff that are contracted will issue the contracts March 15th, due back March 30th. That way we know if somebody's not intending to come back, they'll turn it unsigned. It's just a one-year contract at current salary rates. They'll have a clause in there that they'll be amended upon completion of negotiations. And we do this each year to determine if staff are coming back or not. And get their commitment.
And this will just be certified staff, not administrators, not classified, correct?
It's administrators and certified.
Administrative and
Yeah.
certified, okay.
All contracted.
Okay, very good. So, with that, we need a formal motion to allow that to occur tomorrow.
So moved.
Mr. Moore moves, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thompson. Further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the issuance of the 2016-17 staff contract, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare that motion is passed. On to item number 14 then, school start date and calendar.
Okay, this, excuse me, we have the calendar here for your review, recognizing the fact that last year, or 2 years ago, when we put together the 2-year package, so to speak, we had projected starting a couple of days earlier. We moved that back after several meetings, and so that's a change. And we have the days of in service on those days are outlined in there too. But we were able to come up with and maintain what we had prior to the construction era, and that is, not starting out right off the bat with full 5-day weeks. So the first day, the 24th of August is an open house, and that's the day we count. And then the first day of classes starts on Thursday, the 25th and the 26th. And that's a perfect way for the middle and high school to start, because they work on the A day and B day, so we can meet both of those days and those two. And it's only a 2-day week for kids, especially at the elementary, so they have just a little taste, and then they have the weekend. Then the 29th and 30th and 31, and Thursday the 1st and a half day on Friday, early out schedule for the Labor Day weekend. We think that's a good way to do it for children and families, and it's friendly for the weekend. And we come back on Tuesday, then another 4-day week, and then we get serious. And we go into the routine of 5 days, but it's a nice introduction. And then they go throughout the year, and we have retained their Native American Day off there in October. We have the first Wednesday marked as an early out in several, I think it's 5 of the months. And so that's a routine that we're trying to establish so that parents recognize that and can plan for that. There's your Thanksgiving break and your Christmas break. And then in January, you have, what is that, President's, what is that, third?
New President's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the 16th. And then, that isn't President's Day.
President's Day in February.
February. Anyhow, that's a holiday there. In February then, again, staff development on the 1st and the 17th is, and the 20th are off. And in March, again, you can see the staff development day, and then this is something now that we're going to take a shot at establishing. The 9th and 10th, no school for spring break. That does coincide with the girls' basketball tournament. And then the next year, that'll roll down to the 16th and 17th and coincide with the boys. The good thing is that I'm not going to be here and have to decide how to do that if there's basketball, if Madison Central is in basketball tournaments. So I kind of think that's okay. And in April, then there's a service on the 5th, early out again, that's at 1 o'clock that's what we call 1 o'clock, but the buses start up a little before that. And then on Friday, the 14th, that's Easter weekend, so no school on Good Friday. And in May, again, staff development on the 3rd, and we're looking at the 19th for last day of school. I think it's a very humane calendar. We tried to be cognizant of those who wanted a little later start. I've told you before that our calendar, I believe, of course, that's just one person's opinion, but I believe it's a compromise between those who start really early, a week or more ahead of us, and those who start after Labor Day. I'm not sure that where that would go in the years to come, but for this year, that's our recommendation. We did float it out to Board Member Moore and Board Member Sims, had some interaction with them, and I believe that they would support this, but that's their option to do.
That still gets the first semesters over before Christmas, right?
It doesn't balance it, perfectly, but then the second semester is one of those semesters that you always have more interruptions into the academic world than you do in the first semester anyhow, so hour for hour probably put in the classroom, they balance out pretty well. And yes, the high school will run a first semester and a second semester.
So, recommendation from the administration would be that we consider approval of the start date in the calendar for 2016-2017.
So moved.
Mr. Moore moves, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thompson. Further questions or discussion?
Thank you,
Yeah, thank you guys. That's good.
appreciate it.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the 2016-2017 start date and calendar. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Roof projects, that was good news, right, Mr. Brooks?
Yeah, it was. We had, if you see on the bid tab sheet, we had 4 companies respond to our bid. There's four small or medium-sized sections that we had listed in there. 3 that we bid as a base bid, and then 1 as an alternate, just in case pricing came in high. We might only be able to do 3, but it came in very well. What we have remaining is 2 very large sections after this. It would be sometime in the future years, but kind of going through it and where we were looking for numbers, our recommendation would be to select the option 2, which is roof systems, and it's all 4 of those smaller, medium-sized sections for the $246,909.41. If you're not familiar, we do a 30-year roof system. We buy the materials off of a contract, state contract, and then we bid out the labor, and this is the price, materials and labor all combined.
So the recommendation is we accept both the base and the alternate.
Yep.
Okay. So we have a recommendation from the administration that we consider doing both the base bid and the alternate bid on the high school roof project. Would be a motion to that effect.
Have we done, his roof systems, they've done work up here already, right?
They
Yeah.
won it last year also.
Mhm.
So we have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Nelson, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hague, further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of both the base bid and the alternate bid on the high school roof project, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare that that is approved. After-school program contract renewal.
So we have the request in from the after-school group for the summer use of the elementary on that. And this is something that comes to the board each year because it's not, we have approved rates for facility use, and they're asking for something other than what's out there. And it's a kind of longer term agreement. So we bring that forward, and this year's proposal is to use it for June and July, or May 31st through July 29th. And during the days or hours of the day that we're open and have staff available. The price was increased 3%, which is 15 cents per student per session, so the price goes to $5.30 per student per session. We do also rent them out a bus. The driver rate is $13.10 per hour, and then the mileage is $1.25 per mile on that. Was the same agreement as prior years.
Okay, the recommendation then would be that we consider the renewal of the agreement at the rates that Mr. Brooks had talked about. Entertain a motion, and we'll have discussion.
So moved.
Mr. Miller moves, is there a second? Second by Mrs. Sims, further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of that agreement for the after-school care program, i.e. the summer school program, running from 5:31 to 7:29, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Next item, consider the purchase of a school bus with our grant.
So we applied for that grant earlier this year, and we received it. So then we were going through what type of bus we needed maybe fit best in our fleet. There were 3 bids that came out in the last 12 months, Watertown, Hanson, and Castlewood. So we kind of looked through, and some of them had multiple buses. And as we went through them, the one that seemed to fit us best, Castlewood, had put out a bid for a bus, and it's a 65 passenger bus. The bus price on it was $80,980, which for the buses and the size we were looking at was the low bid amongst all those different bid quotes that went out. And I do have the bid sheets from all the schools and then went out to bid. But our recommendation would be we can piggyback off of that bid and then purchase that bus from North Central Bus for the $80,980. And then the grant will cover $20,600 or $20,400 of that purchase.
And when would we get that?
In July. The bus will deliver in July, and then payment will be made in July. It'll actually be all in next year's budget.
It's new, correct?
It'll be a new bus, yeah.
Okay, so we have a recommendation of purchasing a new 65 passenger school bus using the grant proceeds of the clean diesel grant that we applied for $20,000 plus, and then the cost of the total cost being $80,980. Is there a motion to approve that?
Motion.
Mrs. Thompson moves that we do that. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Sims. Thank you, Mr. Brooks, for the application of the grant. That's wonderful.
And is that gonna be an addition or replacing?
Replace.
It's
Replacing,
we do have to take it, what we had to do is we had to submit an older bus, and
Okay,
then it's still used currently, we have to actually put a hole into the motor and then recycle it out, we can't reuse it.
okay.
So it'll replace an existing bus.
Good question, Ken. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the school bus using the grant dollars signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We could take a little longer before we go to 18. Should we have a recess in here? Or?
Don't we have an executive session?
All right, on to item number 18, consider call of remaining elementary bonds. Good news, Mr. Brooks, again.
Yeah, we have good news on this. So we have a series of bonds that go out to 2023. We pay about, with principal and interest, about 27,000 to 20,000 per year on that. The interest rate carrying out these last few years averages about between 3.5% and 4%. So if we're able to call this bond to be, our payment would be $185,020.45. Currently, we have 4 CDs of 200,000 each that we hold, and we're earning about 0.5% interest. So if we let one of those come due, we can put that money towards this calling of the bond. By doing that, we would save about there's 26,800 in interest on the bonds. We would earn about 6,000 in interest on that CD over a 7-year period. So our net would be just under $20,000 we would save in interest. And our elementary would be debt-free as of May 2nd this year.
7 years early.
7 years early. Yeah.
So moved. So, yeah, second. You beat me to it.
Is it Steve?
Yeah.
Steve was a motion, Charlie was a second.
I don't know, I
We
think
were
we
gonna
might have
say
broke
how
Robert's rules there.
Yeah, I think
They jumped ahead of you.
they jumped well ahead of me, but you know, we're nearing that 6 o'clock hour, so she's got her computer closed.
And that was one to move quick on. Good job.
So we have a motion and a second to call those elementary bonds, which would completely pay off the capital certificates that we had in the elementary school. Something we hoped we could do as a part of our other financing when we did our capital outlay with the high school and things. Again, Mr. Brooks, good job of looking ahead and helping us get that accomplished. So we have a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussions or comments?
What was that
So
amount we were gonna
the
save?
amount we would save on the bond payments is $26,843.75. The projected interest on the CDs would be about $6,000. So the net would be a little, right around the $20,000 projected net we would save on that.
Thank you.
And more importantly, be debt-free.
Mhm.
That'd be-
I got
And
that
that
part.
really-
I was trying to write that.
Further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of calling the remaining of the elementary bonds signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Mrs. Thompson, would you like to act on number 19?
Yes, I would make
adjournment?
a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Okay, Mrs. Thompson moves we adjourn the meeting. Anybody want to second that, or should I die for a second?
Second.
Mr. Moore seconds. Further questions or discussions? Non-debatable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. As always at the legislature, meeting adjourned.